all the way onto his boat, sailboat, and then he got to the end of the sailboat and he decided it's the end. He jumps out of the water at 3 in the morning, jumps into the water, and the current is taking him out. And he's singing up a storm, 3 in the morning, drinking his whiskey, and he's having a grand old time at the end. And then he decided he had to be quiet because he saw the red, green, and white lights of the Solano. Red, green, and white lights of the Solano? Is that what that is? They're navigation lights?
Huh.
Well, they certainly were.
Huh.
Thank you, Jack London. And what I'm saying here, this is a bunch of freaky things that happened over a 15-year period to accomplish the model.
Jeez.
Oh, we're not done with freaky. By the way, Jack London got sober up as he went out. The current was carrying him out to the San Pablo Bay, and it was carrying him out so fast, but he got cold. And when he got cold, he got sober, and he tried to swim, and he couldn't fight that current. 10 miles an hour or 8 miles an hour. There's no way you can't swim that. It's a riptide. You're going out. But it just happened to be a fishing boat coming in.
Huh.
Saved him, and then later he wrote Call of the Wild and all the other books that you know about. So
Huh.
thank you, Jack London. Randy Gordon Gilmore. We had the boat in California, as you know, and in Benicia, we were packing up the boat. We were loading it up, taking it back to Michigan, and my brother and I left. But just before we left, a gentleman by the name of Jerry Bowen was an area historian, and he and I, we talked quite a bit. And he gave us the disc, and he says, you might find this interesting. So we took the disc, and I put it in the van, packed everything up, drove to Sacramento, dropped my brother off for the airplane ride back to Phoenix, and I drove across the Rocky Mountains and over to home. And I took out the boat and the dock and everything else, put that all back in the van. And then I was cleaning out the van about a couple months later. And here's this disc. I said, I wonder what this disc is about. Put it in. It is the Benicia Herald, 360 photographs of the original newspaper articles between 1900 and 1930. And in there, it told the entire history of the Solano.
Huh.
And he had researched for 3 months in the Benicia library, taking pictures of anything that had to do with the Solano.
Oh, wow.
Not only that, but it had timetables.
Gee.
So we learned, that's how we learned the dates of when the boat was out of service and when it changed. 1879 to 1905, 1905 to 1914, 1914 to, we would have never found that out any other way. It was only because of Randy Gordon Gilmore. Not only that, but this particular schedule is very interesting because you'll notice that down here on the bottom it says trains number 1, 2, 21, or 11 and 12 do not carry local passengers to Benicia. That's because those are the transcontinental trains and the expresses, and they did not stop. But those are the trains that were doubled up on the Solano. So there's 4 times a day that, and also if you count the number of trains, there's 23 passenger trains on that. The date's October 1909. And that was the only boat there, so this is.
So, yeah, that brings up a question, when they redid the boat,
Mm-hmm.
then it was out of service,
Right.
how did the transcontinental train get?
They took the old route down through Niles Canyon and Altamont Pass, back through Stockton. And it added, I think it was an hour and 45 minutes, and when they were done, it was like a 45-minute ride. So it knocked off almost an hour off the route. But they didn't have to double head the locomotives over the mountains. The Solano provided an all-water route, water level route.
Look at the ad below this timetable there.
Yeah,
For the stage line.
for the stagecoach. And not only that, but Mrs. Alex McKay left Saturday morning for several weeks at her father's home near something, I can't quite read it. So you can learn all the family histories and everything from this. In fact, that was the hard part, was taking this, it was hard to read this.
Yeah.
And to go through all the little stuff, trying to find out why Randy Gordon Gilmore wanted that picture, wanted that page. So we thank Randy Gordon Gilmore greatly. Also, when we were reading, we found out about a Scientific American article that was written up in the newspaper.
Huh.
So I got an original from online from somebody who had these old Scientific Americans. And in there, look at what we found. 1904. This article, by the way, is written by Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright was the first mate on the Solano at the time. The Solano was laid up because 1905 was when they were revising the boat.
Huh.
So he had time to write this. So he's talking about 1904. And he later became captain of the boat. So in 1904, it made 36 to 46 trips daily. That's leaving the dock every 30 to 40 minutes. Can you imagine that?
Huh.
Carried approximately 115,000 freight cars, averaged 315 freight cars daily, carried approximately 56,000 passenger cars, averaged 153 passenger cars every day.
Wow.
On
In
top of the
October-
315.
What's that?
On top of the 315.
Right. And then October 8, 1909, schedule shows 23 scheduled passenger trains across the deck every day. And it had been forgotten from history. What is going on?
Huh.
Size matters. That's what the Solano would look like if you put it in the football stadiums.
Huh. Former Kansas State Troy.
Yeah, you can see it's longer than a football field.
Jeez.
Oh, I went too fast, sorry. The largest sail ship in the world, wooden sail ship, was considered to be the Wyoming. It was a six-masted schooner. And it was so big that when they turned the rudder, instead of the boat turning, it just twisted the back of the hull and went straight for a while until the wood finally straightened out and it would turn. Wood was a problem. But you can see here that the boat is bigger than the Wyoming, making it the largest wooden ship ever made.
Huh.
Now, we don't know the size of Noah's Ark, but for more recent times, it's documented it's the largest wooden hull ship. For people in the local
That's
area
why you
here,
had all those, what do you call them, pig posts or something, hog posts?
hogging posts, yes.
Hogging posts?
Comparing it with the Badger, it's bigger than the Badger. The Badger was much later ship.
That's a lot later, yeah. That was
Yeah.
built in about 1954.
Right. But the Badger, you have to remember too, was also
It's
going
also-
across lakes,
Yeah, it's a deep water boat.
deep water boat, and also it was an icebreaker.
Yeah.
The Solano sailed. Its nemesis was fog. It had three kinds of fog. It had the San Francisco Bay fog, which you've seen pictures of where the Golden Gate Bridge
Huh.
disappears.
Disappeared, yeah.
And they had the river fog, which is the fog we usually get around here. It's low level, that sits on the lakes and then sometimes on grassy spots. But they had a third kind of fog, dangerous fog, called the valley fog. The valley fog is where the moisture comes into that valley, and then the air comes back over the mountains where the snow was and condenses and pulls down that moisture air and cools it. And that fog is so nasty. When we experienced it, it was unbelievable. We have snow days here, they have fog days.
Huh.
To find my car, I had to go out of the hotel room, out of the hotel lobby, go down the sidewalk and feel each car, because I couldn't see the color unless I was about 2 feet away.
Huh.
And I had to walk all the way down. Our car was parked on the first sidewalk there. Going down and then to find out what color to find our car. And we weren't driving anywhere. And you know how school buses have those strobe lights? All the buses in that valley have strobe lights. That's where they came from. Tom Trost You ready for the weirdest story of all? Thought those were weird stories. Tom Trost. We decided to go see the Solano. My brother found a whole bunch of east by satellite. You remember the old guy that couldn't talk? He said there was something left of the boat. He said, wow. My brother searched the internet because suddenly the satellite pictures were being allowed on the internet. So we found the picture, we found this, where the boat was, and he says, we gotta go see where this is. I said, you got it. So I picked up my brother, and another brother joined us, my brother Richard, came from Denver to Las Vegas. I flew to Las Vegas, we rented a car, drove down to Phoenix, stayed a couple days in Phoenix, filled up the car with peanut butter, jelly, bread, and pop, okay? And off to California we went. But the problem was is that we really enjoyed the trip too much. We enjoyed, again, Beaumont Hill, and Cajon Pass,
Oh, wow.
the Mojave Desert, Tehachapi Loop. And then we went to San Francisco, and my brother Richard had never been to San Francisco. So we had to go up and down every hill. We had to go over all the bridges, and we had to go up and down the curviest street, Lombard Street, down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had to go to Fisherman's Wharf, and then we had to go to Muir Wood. So we didn't get to Benicia until Monday. Now our plane leaves on Wednesday morning.
Oh, wow.
Now it's Monday. So we go to the museum at Benicia, because that's where Harry Wassman worked. The museum's closed on Monday.
Oh, wow.
So we couldn't do that. So we went to Port Costa and we walked around a little bit, and it was kind of nice. And then we drove to Antioch, which is about 25 miles away. And we get there, and it's noontime now, and we're hungry. And there's a restaurant right there called the Red Caboose.
Huh.
We said, wow, the Red Caboose.
The Red
Let's go
Caboose.
have dinner, lunch. But it was closed. It was Monday. If we'd gone any other day, we'd have been able to do both, but we couldn't do it. So we stood in the parking lot for 45 minutes. We didn't do anything in that 45 minutes except want to know what we should do next. And we just stood there and stood there. We wanted to go on this piece of land right here, but there was a big gate and a fence. There's a big gate and fence in the area all the way here and all the way up there. So we did go to the dock and take a couple pictures of the boat out here. You can see the A-frame still standing.
Huh.
And the other A-frame is bent over. And it's just the hull. And this is the Red Caboose. So we parked our car here, and a little frustrated, just walked in that parking lot back and forth. We didn't do anything. It was strange for us. We had just had such an exciting trip. And then all of a sudden my brother says, the gate is open, right here. I go running over, and there's a guy there, and it was a young man. And I said, Bob, can we take a couple of pictures from your land of that boat out there? And he says, you get the hell off my property. I don't want you guys to ever come back here again. And you tell the city of Antioch to go find themselves, and you get the hell out. I said, whoa, 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 we're not from Antioch. And I pull out my driver's license, and I'm from Michigan. By then, my other two brothers are pulling out there. I'm from Colorado, and the other one from Arizona. And he said, we're here to look at that thing. We're building a model of it. He says, you are? He says, well, have you seen what our great-grandfathers have built? And I said, no, that's why we're here. He said, the young man, he says, there was a little boat docked right here. And he says, go over there and get that little boat going. And that young man goes over there, and he's pulling on this boat, and this motor is not going to go. You know, it's a long spring. Brr, brr, brr. And he was a strong man. He was really pulling on this thing. It's not going to go. He said, oh, well, thank you very much, but that was great. He says, well, we have a picture of the sinking of the boat. He says, you do? And I said, yes, we do. This picture right here. He says, my God, I need that picture. We'll send it to you. So we write down Tom Trust's address and so forth. And he says, that picture shows that the dock goes past that boat. And when it goes past that boat, that means that in maritime law, I have the salvage rights of that boat. It is my property.
Huh.
The city of Antioch cannot tear it down. He said, wow. So we'll do that. He says, oh, you got to see this boat. So this kid starts pulling on the boat again and on this motor. He gets in, and the motor starts. I couldn't believe it. We all run out, get in the boat. We get out about 50 feet, and the motor goes. And it would not start again. Tom Truss says, no problem. We will pull ourselves all along here, and for the next 2.5 hours, we went all the way around that oversized football field. Back here, pushed back and got back. And you can't see it here, but right about here is an expressway.
Huh.
It's now 3:30 in the afternoon. We haven't eaten lunch and we're not even hungry. But we got to touch the boat all the way and see all the trusses. And this boat also had 11 watertight compartments in 1879, as opposed to the Titanic in 1905. So we said, oh my God, the freeway, we got to make Bakersfield tonight at the bottom of that valley if we're going to make Las Vegas the next day. And he says, oh, he says, that's no problem. He says, you just follow me. So he hooked up a trailer with the young man, and we drove out and we followed him. He says, you just follow me, and when I make a left-hand turn to my house, he says, you go down another 1/4 mile and turn right, and you'll be on the I-5, and you'll have clear sailing all the way down. And we did. But as we're in the car following him, I said, do you have any idea what's just happened to us? He hadn't been there in 3 weeks, and he was only there for 5 minutes to pick up a trailer. That's how he had the young man with him, because hooking up the trailer, he wanted some help. Without that young man pulling on that motor, we'd have never started. And he gave us a way back. He also gave me a bolt off the front end of the boat. Right? Oh. And the bolt is in front of the model right now.
That's in the room there.
Yeah, it's in the room.
Oh, wow.
Now, not only that, but 2 years later, the model finally finished, and we took it to California, and we were on the Eureka, and Tom Truss shows up with a lawyer, and he wanted to see the boat and take some pictures of it and whatnot. And he says, oh yeah, the lawyer says, we're making it into a historical landmark. And today, it is a historical landmark.
Huh.
That's great.
So
Is
they
that
were
a
ready
great
to,
story?
they were ready to tear it up.
Yeah, oh, they wanted to.
They want to get it out of there.
Now, that's not the end of the strange stories, but that's the strangest.
You might have to cut it to the
It's
second
time,
half
it's
of
time,
the
I gotta be done. Here's pictures of the wreck.
Oh,
Get some idea how big those A-frames are. You can see the truss rods, so forth. where
You gotta go
where
there.
burned. Yeah, you gotta go. Okay, this is California. This is California's gold. Huell Hauser on the left is the narrator of a television program, PBS. And when they found out about the Solano, they wanted to do a television show on it because nobody knew about it. And his historical friends didn't know anything about it. And it was sort of his little prize that he was a historian and knew it and could bring it to television.
Jeez.
So next to him is my
That's
brother,
awesome.
then myself, and of course Harry Wassman, the first man that knew what the word Solano meant. And the four of us joined the cameraman. His name was Cameron. Cameraman. And we did, this is the dock at Benicia. You can see Port Costa right behind my head is Port Costa. And then
Jeez.
we took a boat around the Solano. And the TV show does not show the model at all. It only shows, but the TV show is available. All you have to do is Google Solano Train Ferry and go to Chapman Blogs. That's not somebody named Chapman, that's Chapman University.
Huh.
And you can watch the television show for free. The model's not in it.
Huh.
And there's Jim Turner, and that's the end. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody else that was involved in this great adventure that brings this boat to history. And now it's all over the web. None of the websites are ours.
Where'd you get the aerial photographs of the wreck?
Satellites. There's a satellite.
Those are satellite
photos.
pictures?
Yeah, Google it.
Won't be done.
If you Google Maps, Solano Train Ferry.
Solano, so.
Okay, I guarantee you, those aren't pinhole pictures either.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm not a cameraman. I thought they were.
Jeez.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
Wow.
we're-
Wow, really? That was really, that's really a lot of history.
Yeah.
Is that something? Or
Boy, that's,
to be a part of that?
What time did you start this?
I mean,
Ran over
An hour and 15 minutes, 20 minutes ago. I ran way over.
And it was worth every
I
minute.
think it
Well,
was.
I'm glad you enjoyed